No, it's Mai Tai. Hello and welcome to Intoxicated Masculinity. If it's Wednesday, we have a cocktail video coming at you. Today we are going to do one of my favorite tiki cocktails since the weather is starting to improve, at least some places, and that is of course the Mai Tai. It is a great tiki cocktail. I'm using a lot of the stuff from Smuggler's Cove, a book Martin Kate wrote. It is a very, very good cocktail book, very good tiki cocktail book, probably the most important currently on the market. So I am going to do a recipe that I think is probably the most loyal to the original recipe. The original recipe, for a variety of reasons, is not really possible to be made anymore. So he originally used a 17-year Ray and Nephew, which is not available. He then switched to a 15-year Ray and Nephew, which is also not available. So now going forward, I think most people that are trying to maintain the integrity of the drink are using a combination of pot still Jamaican rum and rum Agricole. So that's what we're going to be doing here. Cocktail goes back to 1944, excuse me. Trader Vic apparently made the cocktail for a friend from Tahiti, and they loved it, and they said Mai Tai, which apparently means the best in Tahitian. I don't know if it's the best, but it's certainly way up there. Now that we know a little bit about the history of the cocktail, let's go ahead and put it in a glass and taste it and see what we think. We're going to start off with our Orgeat. So Orgeat is kind of the most unique ingredient in this cocktail, and it's basically a simple-ish syrup. I say simple-ish. There's sugar in here. It is made from almond milk, basically. I handmade this one, and a little bit of orange flower water. So we're going to start off with this one, and we're going to add in half an ounce of our Orgeat. This, if you have the right equipment, this can be easy to make. Otherwise, this is kind of a pain in the ass to make. If you make it from scratch, make it from actual almonds. So I mean, if you're gonna do it. But it is going to take some time, and it's going to take some elbow grease. Next thing we're going to add in is our this is a rich simple syrup. This is a 2-to-1 Demerara syrup. And we're just going to add in just a 1/4 of an ounce. And Demerara takes a little bit to pour. Toss it. 1/4 ounce for Demerara syrup. Then, checking my notes to make sure I'm not missing anything. I'm going to do 3/4 of an ounce of fresh squeezed lime juice and half an ounce of our orange liqueur. Now, as I said before, you know, there's a lot of orange liqueurs out there. There's a lot of cocktails that call for orange liqueur, so there's a big demand for it. I've been using my Salerno. If you want to use triple sec can be a little sweeter. If you use triple sec, I might cut back on your simple a little bit. Or Grand Marnier is what some call for. I think I would go for a more neutral orange liqueur, so I would probably go with Salerno or Cointreau. Alright, so we've got our ingredients in. Now, one other one, I've seen a few of these cocktails call for Angostura bitters. I can sort of see it. I'm not going to add it in here, but if you're a big bitters fan, go ahead and feel free to toss in a couple dashes of that. Now we're going to get to the rum. Now, the first one I'm going to toss in, I'm just going to do about 1/4 of an ounce of our Overproof. And this is a plantation, and this is a blend. So this is a blend of Jamaican, Barbados, and Guianan rum. And I just toss in a little bit extra to give the drink just a little bit more of a kick. So we're just going to toss in 1/4 ounce of that. And then we're going to get to our real stars of the rum drink, the rum. So first we're going with the rum Agricole. I've got a rum jam. You can use an aged rum Agricole if you want to. In the book, Martin Kate talks about that while Trader Vic was talking about using Martinique rums, which actually, just for a moment on that, so Martinique rums are kind of unique. Unique. So these are made from the fermenting the presses of the sugarcane juice. So this is essentially made the same way that they make cachaça in Brazil. However, for something to be called cachaça, it has to be made in Brazil. So this is made in Martinique, which means it is French rum. So that's what you will typically, if people say French rum, they are typically talking about rum Agricole. They aren't exactly synonyms, but that's typically what they're going to be talking about. So with our rum Agricole, and by the way, it gives it a very unique flavor. and unique nose. It's got kind of a grassy kind of a nose to it. So it's going to give the cocktail kind of a unique flavor. So we're going to go ahead and toss in 1 ounce of our rum Agricole. And everybody pretty much agrees you want a pot still Jamaican rum. So I'm going to go with our Appleton Estate 8 year. Now this is going to kind of depend on the level of funkiness. This is going to be sort of on the lower end. If you want to go with like a Dr. Bird or a Smith & Cross or something like that, that's going to bring that funkiness up pretty significantly. So, 1 ounce of our Appleton Estate. Now we're going to grab some ice and get this thing shaken up. Pour that on into the shaker. Give it a little pound and let's give this a good shake. Alright, got a good shake on that. I'm going to double strain this. I'm going to put this in a rocks glass. Some people would do this in a coupe or a Nick and Nora. I kind of like this in a rocks glass. A lot of people would also do crushed ice as a bourbon guy, and sort of you know, coming from that background, I kind of prefer one nice big chunk of ice just kind of visually. So that's what I'm going to do in here. Let's go ahead and double strain that on into the glass. The other nice thing, so typically you double strain to keep your pulp from your citrus out of there. But the other thing that I kind of, as a pet peeve of mine about cocktails, is the idea of those tiny little floating ice chunks. I think it just kind of makes the drink look bad, and I prefer them to not be there. So, all right, there we have our Mai Tai. That's just lovely. You get a real bouquet of flavors. So in the Orgeat, in the whole batch of Orgeat, you're just using a tiny little bit of orange flower water, and yet it still comes through. I can still taste that in this drink. It just brings kind of a nice sunniness, a nice floralness. You have your lime in there, and it's bringing just a tiny bit of sour, but the creaminess is really the main story here. Now, if you are into funky rums, I probably would go with your Smith & Cross, because the Appleton by itself really isn't bringing much funk into this drink. Oh, it's just so good. It's just very, very well balanced. It's floral, it's creamy, it's a tiny bit sour. It's got just the right level of sweetness. So it is a sweet drink, but it is not cloyingly so. Yeah, everything just works really well together in this cocktail. This is one of my favorite tiki cocktails. I highly recommend making this on your own. You can probably buy Orgeat. I'm sure there's places where you can buy it, so you don't have to make it yourself. But other than that, all these ingredients are very, very easy to come by. This is another good cocktail, and kind of all tikis are, but specifically this is a great cocktail to sort of experiment with your rums. I mean, try making with 2 ounces of Smith & Cross. This will be a very different cocktail. This will be just all funk, which again, depending on your palate, could be good or bad. That being said, I want to thank everybody for watching. So now that we have tasted a good Mai Tai that I enjoy very much, next week we're going to come back and taste some other Mai Tais of the canned and pre-made variety, and we'll see if they are palatable. So, I will see you next week. I want to thank everybody for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and have a good drink.